Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. How are you feeling this morning on day 237 of the year? I hope you woke up well rested and you are having a nice, quiet and relaxing yin start to your morning, wherever you are in the world. It is another lovely, cool and quiet start to the desert day here in Cappadocia in Turkey. As I said yesterday, I just love the contrast of the nice, crisp and cool mornings and evenings in comparison to the blazing, searing heat of the day in the desert. And as we're getting closer to September, the days are getting a little cooler, so it's becoming a little more pleasant to be out and about. In the middle of the day, I usually just hide out here in my studio in the cave, and it's actually really interesting how the temperature is so much different inside of the cave compared to outside. It's incredible, like the insulation, the natural insulation that the cave provides. And now I completely understand why people in this area lived in caves for so many years. It's such an incredible part of the world. If you ever get the opportunity to come here, I highly, highly recommend it. So as I said, we're on day 237 of the year, and according to 365 Tao by Deng Ming Tao, on day 237, our word for today is body. So it's time to think about our physical body. We are somatic beings, which means our body is part of our living process. And yesterday we kind of touched on that when we were talking about the imprisonment of our intellectual mind, when we overthink things from the intellect and we override our intuition, which is our somatic part of our body, which is like nature's way of telling us things. And a lot of the time the ego mind will override that. But really, if we can come back to our body, come back to our heart, come back to our feelings more than our thinking, that's really one of the ways, it's really one of the best ways to be living rather than intellectualizing everything. So on that note, let's use our lungs, that's part of our body, to focus on our breath for a few nice deep breaths. Shorter inhales in, with longer exhales out to down-regulate our system, to relax, to be present, to be here and now and connecting with the natural world. If you can be outside or by a window like I am, listening to the birds, watching the day unfold. And let's start reading together on day 237 on the subject of body. I am not this fragile body. We are not our bodies. This may seem an odd association. After all, there is no other object on this earth that we know more intimately. Why should we not identify with it? What is there about our bodies that is tangible? Of course it has substance, but how do we account for it for volition? A corpse is just as tangible as a living being, and yet no one would mistake the two. That's an interesting sentence. So a dead body, a corpse, and a living body are technically the same thing, but at the same time they're not. You wouldn't mistake a dead body for a live body, right? So there's something different. There's something that animates the living, right? That the dead body, the corpse, doesn't have. This is interesting. Something mysterious accounts for the differences between a live and a dead body. Something animates us. Sorry, I already knew what the sentence was going to be in my subconscious mind. Something animates a live body that a corpse or a dead body doesn't have. So have a think about that. What is that? That's your spirit, right? Or your soul. It is the mind that directs the energy. But what of the mind can we call definite? It is like a flickering flame. At no point can we determine its exact contours. The more closely we examine ourselves, the more subtle distinctions become. Everything becomes quite indistinct. We cling stubbornly but futilely to the impression that we could find something in the reduction of things. It's all quite confusing, but one thing is certain. I am not this fragile body. So that's a really interesting question or sentence to sit and ponder this morning. You can write about it in your journal. It can be your journaling prompt. You could perhaps meditate on it. And as you move through your day-to-day, have a think about the connection between your mind, your body, and your spirit or your soul. because those three entities are somewhat separate, but they all make up who you are. And your body isn't exactly you. I mean, it's like the vessel that you're using to move around as a human being, but there's something within that animates you, that makes you the person that you are, and that's not your body. So it's an interesting thing to wrap your head around it. It's a little bit morbid to think of like a dead body or a corpse versus a live body, but that's really the best way to explain it. When somebody dies, their spirit or their soul or whatever it is that animated them as a person is no longer there, but the body is. And a live person who has the spirit, who has the soul, who has the movement, they still have a body as well, but there's something that differentiates the two things. And that's how you can say, I am not my body. My body is the vessel through which I'm having my human experience. So it's a little bit of an interesting concept to think about, especially first thing in the morning. But think about that for a moment. You might, as I said, you might want to sit and meditate on it. Okay, I'm not my body. I use my body as a human being, but it's not who I am. So if your body isn't who you are, what is that thing that animates you? And people have different names for it. It's your soul or your spirit or whatever you want to call it. But have a think about that today. As I said, meditate on it. Write about it in your journal, and as you move throughout your day-to-day using your body, think about it. What is it that's actually animating me in this moment? What is it that's making me do the things that I do? And then also think about how wonderful your body is today. Show your body some love. Think about all the wonderful things that it allows you to do as a human being. Take good care of it today. Drink an extra glass of water, eat nourishing foods, take a nice long everything shower and put lotion on your skin and some nice products in your hair so that you smell nice, and just take care of your physical body, because even though it's not who you are, it is part of who you are. It's an interesting thing to think about. So on that note, I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for being here for 237 days and starting your morning with me. And I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye.